Imagine two giants of history facing off, with the fate of a massive empire hanging in the balance, a truly breathtaking moment. Today, we're diving into one of those moments, the Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BCE, where Alexander the Great and Darius III of the Achaemenid Empire had their final confrontation. Yes, Gaugamela, a name that echoed through history. Many sources recount this epic battle, and we're going to explore exactly what happened on that field, how not only an empire fell, but the course of world history was forever changed. Let's be clear, Gaugamela wasn't just a battle, it was a turning point, a showcase of power, strategy, leadership, and ambition that shook the ancient world. What's fascinating is that before swords clashed, Darius actually tried to make peace. After losing the Battle of Issus, he didn't want another war. According to sources, he made 3 peace offers. First, take all the lands west of the Halys River. Just return my captives. Alexander said no. Second, marry my daughter Statira. I'll give you the same lands. Still no. The third offer was grand. Take all the lands west of the Euphrates. Let's rule together. Marry my daughter, and I'll throw in 30,000 talents of silver. That's a massive sum, enough to fund a huge army for years. And that's when the famous exchange happens. Alexander's veteran general Parmenion says, "If I were Alexander, I'd accept." And Alexander replies, "So would I if I were Parmenion." Then adds, "Asia cannot have 2 kings." From the start, Alexander had already made up his mind. He didn't want peace, he wanted war. When diplomacy failed, Darius focused entirely on preparing for battle. He cleverly chose the plains of Gaugamela, a flat, open field ideal for maneuvering his massive forces. He even had the ground leveled to accommodate his terrifying scythe chariots. He was determined to use every tactical advantage. Let's look at the armies. Ancient sources often exaggerate, talking about 1 million infantry and 40,000 cavalry. More realistic estimates put the Persian force at just over 100,000 troops, still enormous compared to Alexander's forces. But it wasn't just numbers, it was diversity. Troops came from Bactria, India, Scythia, Greek mercenaries, and, of course, the famous immortals. There were even 15 war elephants, though they weren't very effective in the battle. Alexander, in contrast, had about 40,000 infantry and 7,000 cavalry. Smaller but highly professional, disciplined, and battle-hardened. His phalanx with 6-meter-long spears, sarissas, and his elite companion cavalry were among the finest units of the ancient world. Now to the battle itself. Alexander pulled a brilliant move. Instead of attacking the strong Persian center head-on, he angled his entire army to the right, dragging Persian cavalry out of position. This stretched Darius's line and opened the possibility for a gap, right where Darius was stationed. To counter, Darius sent in the Scythian and Bactrian cavalry, led by Bessus, to cut Alexander off. A fierce cavalry clash began. At the same time, scythed chariots charged Alexander's center, but the Macedonians were ready. Light infantry hurled javelins, while phalanx units opened their lines, letting chariots pass through, then attacked from behind. The chariots were neutralized. And then came the turning point. While everyone was focused on the flanks, a gap opened in the Persian center. Alexander formed his cavalry into a wedge formation and charged straight for Darius. Picture it, Darius, the King of Kings, sees Alexander himself leading a charge straight at him while his center collapses. He panicked and fled. And in that system, when the king runs, the army's morale collapses. The Persian forces crumbled. But the fight wasn't over everywhere. Parmenion on Alexander's left was under heavy pressure. Alexander now had a choice: pursue Darius or help his struggling general. He chose to help Parmenion. This says a lot about his leadership, valuing the safety of his troops over the glory of capturing Darius. The result? A decisive Macedonian victory. They captured countless treasures, even Darius's personal chariot and bow. But for Darius, the story ends bitterly. He fled east only to be betrayed by Bessus and other nobles, hoping to win favor with Alexander. They captured Darius and killed him. But Alexander was furious at the betrayal. He hunted Bessus down and had him executed brutally. Then, in a show of honor, he ordered Darius's body to be buried with full royal rites in Persepolis. With Darius's death, the Achaemenid Empire was finished. Gaugamela was its final breath. This was far more than a military victory. It was the end of one era and the start of another, the Hellenistic Age, forged by Alexander's conquests. And maybe the most haunting lesson: how a single decision, a moment of courage or fear by one man, can alter the course of history. So let me ask you, in this story of brilliance, tactics, bravery, tragedy, and betrayal, what struck you the most? Was it Alexander's military genius, Darius's tragic fate, or the complicated webs of loyalty and power? And more importantly, what can we learn today from this colossal clash of empires about leadership, ambition, and the price of power?